The fire pops softly, a small spark leaping into the dark indigo sky before vanishing. The old man adjusts his wool wrap, his voice dropping to a resonant, rhythmic hum that seems to vibrate in the very ground beneath you. "Long before the maps were drawn," he begins, his words slow and measured, "there was a hidden place known only as the Valley of Soft Echoes. It wasn't a place you could find by looking with your eyes. You could only find it by listening with your heart. In the very center of this valley stood the great Willow of Dreams. Its branches didn't reach for the sky like other trees. Instead, they draped down in long silver curtains that brushed against the tall blue grass with a sound like silk on silk. The wind there didn't howl or whistle. It hummed. It hummed a low, steady note, the deep, amber frequency of a world at rest. There was a traveler once, weary from 1,000 miles of walking, who stumbled into the valley just as the violet twilight began to settle. His boots were heavy with the dust of distant roads, and his mind was a tangled thicket of what-ifs and must-dos. He felt the weight of the world sitting right between his shoulder blades. He found his way to the base of that great willow and sat down. As he did, he realized the ground wasn't hard earth at all. It felt like a deep, cool velvet molded perfectly to the shape of his tired frame. He leaned his back against the bark, which felt warm, as if the tree had been holding on to the sun's glow just for him. "Breathe," the leaves whispered. The traveler took a breath. He smelled the scent of wild lavender, crushed mint, and ancient cedar. As he exhaled, he felt the tension in his jaw simply dissolve. He felt the tightness in his chest loosen, petal by petal, like a flower closing for the night. He watched the embers of his small campfire, much like the one we sit around now. He watched the way the orange light pulsed, growing softer, then brighter, then softer again. He began to see that everything in the universe has this same slow, steady rhythm. The tides pulling the glass-calm sea, the moon growing full and then fading into the velvet dark, the stars pulsing like slow, distant heartbeats, once, twice, and again. The traveler felt a heavy, warm blanket of night air settle over his legs. It wasn't a cold weight. It was the comforting pressure of a long, silent hug from the earth itself. The humming of the valley grew deeper, syncing perfectly with the rhythm of his own blood. He looked up through the silver willow branches at the crescent moon. It looked like a cradle rocking in the dark. He realized then that he didn't need to hold the world together. The roots of the tree would hold the ground. The stars would watch the path. The night would keep the secrets. His eyelids began to feel like leaden shutters, moving slower with every blink. The crackle of the fire turned into a distant, sandy whisper. The world around him started to blur at the edges, turning into a soft, hazy glow of gold and shadow. "Rest now," the willow murmured into his ear. "The stories are finished for today. The road is sleeping. The wind is sleeping. And now it is your turn to let go of the thread." The traveler didn't fall into sleep so much as he simply drifted. He drifted like a leaf on a still pond, floating further and further away from the shore of the waking world, into the vast, quiet ocean of the stars. The old man's voice trails off into a mere breath. He gazes into the dying glow of the logs, his own eyes half closed, leaving the rest of the story to the silence of the woods.